and he gifted me a book. It was actually a production of a novella that I wrote for. Bluebells are significant to me because they remind me of my night elf character in Azeroth in World of Warcraft. So that's wood sorrel, and just down here a specimen of yellow archangel. See a red kite, or two red kites in fact. So, you find me at Cowleaze Wood, a woodland in a completely new area. Obviously we've covered places like Chinner Hill and places closer to home like Snakemere Nature Reserve. This is a new area. This is part of Aston Rowant National Nature Reserve. Cowleaze Wood is known for its bluebell coverage. It's a mixed plantation, mixed coniferous and deciduous woodland. Very impressive carpet of bluebells throughout this entire wood. Unfortunately I come a little bit late, 12th of May, and I was going to go earlier but I had things to do, and I also went on a trip west to Somerset in very recent times. I'm just back from that. So unfortunately we won't be able to see the bluebell coverage. There are still some bluebells out, but it won't be as it was in certain videos of this channel. Some of you might remember these videos, these vlogs I used to record in the woods, sitting amongst the bluebells. That was in Cowleaze Wood. Unfortunately I won't be able to do that today. I have to wait till next year. But it should still be a nice walk. And what I'm going to do is I think I will just stick to Cowleaze Wood, because this entire area, again, part of the Aston Rowant National Nature Reserve, is quite extensive. There's lots of hills, valleys, and it is certainly the most it's where we start getting into complex topography. And I usually think of Cowleaze as one distinct area anyway, so I'll probably just walk through this woodland and leave the episode and mark the episode as just Cowleaze Wood. But before we go on our walk, I just want to show you something here. These pay and display machines. These were not here before. It's rather frustrating. Cowleaze Wood has been under extensive management in recent times, so it was actually closed off for about a year, and I've not been here in quite some time. It's a good place to go to park in order to get into various woods and hills. It's hard to show obviously the extent of where we really are. You may have got a sense of that from the drive up, but yes, it's a good car park to set off from. But now you have to pay in order to park here, and that just wasn't the case for a very long time. I mean, I've been, as I say in earlier videos, I've been living here since 2018. And now it's very much a forestry England woodland, having to pay in order to go for a walk. I'm going to go on a hunt for Hyacinthioides non-scripta, bluebells. So they're not here, but hopefully there's open areas where the canopy hasn't fully come in yet, and we might be able to see some. In fact, what I might do is, instead of going that way, I might skirt round. I know that if we go this way, there is in fact more open areas. As I'm standing in this car park, I'm remembering a birthday quite a few years ago. I couldn't drive at the time, and I remember my twin, he drove me to Cowleaze Wood. It might have actually been this area here, or maybe slightly over that way. And he stopped the car, and we were facing out to into the trees, and he gifted me a book. It was actually a production of a novella that I wrote for our Sartoris shared fantasy narrative. And it was just a very emotional moment to see a work that I'd created, that I'd written in physical form. And that particular story, it deals with the origins of our Sartoris lore. Sartoris, I guess the ethos of Sartoris being one of ecocentrism. And I suppose on the subject of linking this to gratitude, it's just being able to have those personal connections where we can just drive out to a woodland very close by, and I don't know, it gives more weight to certain events, and that was one such example. So this is great. We'll actually be able to see where we are. So this is the car park, and Cowleaze Wood is just one small area of Aston Rowant National Nature Reserve. And I hope to, in the summertime, go to other areas. There's hills and valleys and so forth. But let's just have a read of this for now. Aston Rowant National Nature Reserve. The reserve is situated on the chalk escarpment of the Chilterns, with commanding views of the low-lying clay vales. The site is of national importance for its chalk downland, beech, woodland, and their associated plants and animals. This specialised habitat supports many species characteristic of the Chilterns, including Chiltern gentian, wild candytuft, and chalk-hilled blue butterfly. Indeed, actually, a lot of what I'm seeing here can be associated with Chinner Hill Nature Reserve. The site is also noted for its large number of juniper bushes, proving my point there. The reserve is one of the best places to view red kites, indeed it is, which were reintroduced to the Chilterns in the early 1990s. The site also has many features of archaeological and historical interest, including spectacular sunken trackways and flint pits. The National Nature Reserve is managed by Natural England for everyone to enjoy. You are not so much anymore, to walk anywhere on the site, and there are several waymarked paths. I love the illustrations. Again, it's just great to actually have a National Nature Reserve pretty much on my doorstep. It's about 15 to, I guess yes, 15 to 20 minutes or so. Not particularly any bluebells out. I'm trying not to get too sad about that, because I know that I have featured bluebells on the channel before, actually sitting amongst them. They would be everywhere. The entire woodland would just be utterly carpeted in them. Yes, you can see that they're still out in this area here, but the flowers have diminished. They're not as open. So there's a decent amount of them here, but they're all very closed and dark, and yes, you can see definitely not how they look in early spring. Still though, you can get a sense of them here, I suppose. I'm just thinking that I believe it was about might have been last year, spring of last year, I recorded a short video on the significance of bluebells to me. For various reasons I didn't end up publishing that, but I might as well speak about the importance of bluebells now, even though they're not in full bloom. Primarily, bluebells are significant to me because they remind me of my night elf character in Azeroth in World of Warcraft, who had blue hair. I can't say why I chose blue hair. This elven warrior, this Cowleaze persona of mine, he had blue hair. I chose that colour for whatever reason when I was about 12 or 13 years old. And every time I see bluebells, I just remember him. It never fails to remind me of the significance of Azeroth to my journey, to my becoming, I suppose, not only interested in the outdoors, but more deeply, I guess, my cultivation of ecocentrism. In terms of other associations, I think of Sartoris and one particular character within Sartoris, the figure of Marissa Savanas. I won't get into the lore here, but suffice it to say, this is the mother of the protagonist, Yoran Sartoris. Someone who has a deep love of nature, who questions theocracy, who is an old soul, really, a melancholy but very passionate defender of the old ways. Let's put it that way. And what's significant about her is that she wears a purple bluish shawl And every time I see bluebells, I'm reminded of Marissa. Indeed, the way that the bluebells carpet the forest floor, it reminds me of her shawl. And I'm just thinking, I'm almost getting goosebumps just thinking about all these different associations. There is also various songs by, there's one particular singer, Hansi Kursch, who fronts the band Blind Guardian. But I'm thinking of a song he did for Avantasia called Raven Child, and there's various lyrics in there relating to the colour blue or purple. I say purple because I'm trying to associate it with bluebells, but they actually, to me, they look more purplish in certain lighting conditions than blue. But in the song Raven Child, a song about escape and rebellion and imagination, there are the lines, "You tuck away yourself inside, you ride away on the inmost light, your soul glowing opal blue." So again, there's all these associations with the colour blue, and I always think about these things with bluebells when I see bluebells. And in fact, there's another line in that particular song as well. "Blue and serene, once a sky swanned on magic." The sky is particularly blue today. So yes, I'm thinking as I'm walking, it's lovely that I'm able to come out here and talk about these things. I just wish I'd come out a bit earlier. So I do know that there should be somewhere along this area here. Bluebells are most extensive, but I'm not particularly seeing them yet. There's certainly bluebells this way. It's a woodland ride, always more open than the interior. There's nothing quite like the combination of a calm, almost windless wood on a very sunny day with bluebells out. And birds singing. So I was just walking down this ride here, but I think I will go back the way. I just wanted to show you the bluebells in the margins here. I think I'll go back the way. So as I'm walking here, almost every step I take I'm thinking, I wish I had come here earlier so that I could show the full extent of the bluebells. If I'm going to show, if this series is dedicated to the Chiltern Hills, I want to show it at its best. But actually, I am thinking that I have said that I want to make this series much more naturalistic. And part of that is going out when I'm able, not necessarily at the best time. Some of you might remember this particular area from a video of a vlog I did on the subject of accessibility. It was about, I believe it was about struggles with health, and I just remember thinking about what it might be like to not be able to walk to not be able to walk through a woodland with ease, or to not be able to hear or see. And in fact, it brings to mind the fact that I don't currently have my glasses with me. Not because I forgot them, but because I am deliberately not wearing them. I might as well speak about this. I have fairly poor eyesight, short-sighted. It's not too bad, but I've been wearing glasses since I was about 12 or so. Strangely enough, I don't tend to think of myself as a glasses wearer, but there's a lot of bluebells over that way, but it's a little bit too difficult to get to. I don't think of myself as a glasses wearer, but I have been wearing them for a long time. And I've actually had the same pair of glasses for about maybe over 15 years. And just in the past few weeks, I've been deliberating on getting a new pair of glasses and getting a new prescription. It's been very strange trying a new prescription and actually being able to see a lot better. I'm actually, as I'm looking out at this woodland, I'm remembering a documentary featuring John Howe, the Tolkien artist, and he said that he needs to wear glasses essentially constantly, otherwise everything for him is just a blur of light, shadows and light. It's not as bad for me, but I do understand what he means by that. And it's just a strange thing that one gets used to, I suppose. The fact that your own body doesn't enable you to actually see what is most enriching in your life. You have to wear a mechanical apparatus on your face in order to see properly. But of course it's a very common thing to have to wear glasses. I don't know, I was just thinking of this because I remember this particular area. And admittedly it's a peculiar feeling to walk through these woods in a much more casual manner and just speak about whatever comes to mind. And remember that I have featured these places on the other side before. So, as you might have been able to tell, there are various trails. I can go further into the interior, but I'm trying to skirt round this way. So although the interior is pleasant, I want to try and get to the far end of Cowleaze Wood. Because actually, I might as well cover more of this area. It's a place I've not been to as much. There's one place in particular I'm thinking of. Lovely hawthorn blooms here. Almost looks like it's collected snowfall, sprinkled and dusted with white. We came from this direction. Back that way and around is the car park, and here's the woodland ride. We've somewhat been in this direction here and here. We're going to skirt round in view of this field, because it actually takes you to the far end. Now, I've just not been to Cowleaze Wood as much in recent times, especially now that the car park requires payment. Even before then, I used to just think of it as used to just use it primarily for the car park, just to get to other locations. But it is a nice wood. Some wood sorrel here on this stump. Oxalis acetosella, I believe. I've often picked wood sorrel. It tastes a little bit like apple peel. I remember camping and putting it in some pasta. So that's wood sorrel, and just down here, a specimen of yellow archangel. Yellow archangel. Yellow archangel. What is it? What is its Latin name, Taylor? And why do I feel the need to remember scientific construction, scientific nomenclature? Is it Lamiastrum Galeoptilon? If it is, then yes, I can still remember most of these Latin names, but I don't know why I feel this internal need. Maybe it's just to reconnect me to my background in ecology. I don't know. I almost wish I could get out of the habit of testing myself whenever I see a particular wildflower. Again, not that knowing scientific names is bad, and not that it doesn't have its importance with phylogeny and taxonomy. There it is again, yellow archangel. In fact, there's a few clusters here. Yes, this entire area of Cowleaze Wood, and I've been walking for some time. This area is not one I've visited often. You can see we're on the very perimeter of the wood. It's fairly open. Nice and warm actually. It was fairly cold at the start of the morning. I believe this is wood spurge. So we've come from that direction, and sometimes I forget that beyond Cowleaze Wood is this entire estate here, Wormsley Estate. And I think it's just very indicative of the Chiltern Hills that there is always more to see, always more overlooks and valleys and hills. I just intended to walk through Cowleaze Wood and show you the bluebells, but I almost forgot that just down a single trail we can get into the open country. Here's an interesting swathe of silverweed and white dead nettle. I think I showed white dead nettle in a previous video, Lamium alba, different from red dead nettle, Lamium purpureum. I've not done as much walking in this particular area. I mean, it looks fairly open, but there's limited places to go. The red kite. See a red kite, or two red kites in fact. Again, bringing things back to gratitude. I'm just out here by myself. There's no one else here. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm just by myself in this open country watching red kites. But yes, most of this area is actually private. It's private land. Don't tend to go down this way much anyway. So what I think I will do is I'll probably go back around, get back up to Cowleaze Wood. So just as I'm on my way back to the car park, I'm actually just remembering that, like so many of the woods in the Chiltern Hills, or the Chilterns National Landscape, I have sat and thought about so many things, not just personally for myself, but also for the channel as well, for the Thoughts from the Other Side series. Somewhere up here I recorded a video for, I think the series is called Returning Truths, which admittedly I haven't recorded an episode for that series for quite a long time for various reasons, but I recorded a Returning Truths episode in this woodland, in that area up there, and that was for the subject of trees and forests, I believe. This is a curious thing because sometimes I actually forget how many times I've been in these woodlands and all the different things I've thought about. And it's just being able to just come out and sit down and have such places as this as a backdrop for my videos, for my creative projects. Something else entirely is that, which I suppose I did allude to it in the first episode, is that I do hope to get back into camping. Hopefully this year somehow. I've mentioned before that I have done a lot of camping in Scotland and to some extent England. And I imagine if I got back into camping, the channel would change quite significantly. If I'm happy just recording vlogs in the woods, imagine how different this channel would be if I actually recorded entire camping sessions. the channel would very much, it would take me back, I suppose, to when I was much more engaged in rural skills, bushcraft, the life of the woodsman, essentially. As I say, nowadays I tend to just have a more hands-off approach with nature. No field work, no bushcraft. Just a general interest in natural history and tending to think a lot about ecological ethics and philosophy of wonder and cultural issues and so forth. But yes, I mentioned this because I was just thinking about recording vlogs in the woods, and I would admittedly like to return to a more practical engagement with nature, and it's something it's a deep frustration of mine that it's illegal to camp in England. And I've emailed so many groups and organisations detailing my background and how I would respect nature with the bushcraft ethos and all manner of things. But even then, I can't even seem to gain permission to camp in a woodland, even if it was just a very pared down setup, minimal equipment, minimal gear. Not even a fire, just a stove and a tent. It's ironic, really, the number of woodlands that I have access to. But I don't particularly want to camp in a SSI woodland or have to constantly look over my back. I remember some camping trips where it felt particularly precarious. I could camp. I definitely could camp, but it just doesn't feel particularly nice. My twin is thinking of getting into camping. I think he's planning to go out into the woods by himself and learn to camp, essentially. And I might join my twin on some camping trips, as we actually used to do. We used to camp together sometimes. But for now it's just walking and sitting and thinking. So I think that's pretty much it for Cowleaze Wood. Fairly happy that we got to see some bluebells and to be able to show off a completely new area of the Chilterns National Landscape. But there is so much more to see, so much more. You can actually see some clusters of bluebells here. As far as I'm concerned, we have not even got started yet. I'm projecting my mind into the future. In the peak of summer, I will be traversing up and down the hills, clear blue skies, going on long pilgrimages. It's going to be quite the adventure. But for now, we're headed back to the car park to go back home.